Welcome back, guys. I'm Nick's Lotus, your one-stop shop for brews, budgets, and board states. Today I wanted to talk about 6 cards that I really like that are brand new out of March of the Machine Commander. I'm gonna be honest, there was 46 new cards that came out in this new Commander deck, and a lot of them weren't very good. So I honestly can't recommend you go buy one of these precons, but these are 6 singles that I found that are brand new that you might not know about because you didn't buy the Commander deck that I wanted to show you guys. Really quick, another thing, they made a lot more white cards than all the other cards. I thought that was interesting. Like black had like 8 cards. It was the second most like newly printed color. White had like 12, and then blue, green, and red had like 6 cards or something like that. 4 cards maybe. It wasn't a lot of cards at all. Up first is Nesting Dovehawk, 3 and a white for a 2/2 flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, populate. Whenever a creature token enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Nesting Dovehawk. I really like this thing. In token decks, it's a separate go tall threat that swings in next to your go wide threat, which I really like. I think I'll put this in my Alayla deck if I'm being honest. It's kind of cool. It's like a pseudo Vulturous zombie for white that just kind of sits there and gets big as a flyer, but it populates at the beginning of your combat, which is great. So it does something the turn it comes out, which is really cool. Up next is Wand of World Soul, 2 and a white for an artifact. It enters the battlefield tapped. It taps for 1 white. It can also tap to make the next spell you cast have Convoke. This is extremely solid. This is a super solid piece of white mana ramp. I could see this price going up. That Elite Vanguard, Lana Lore Elf. That Soul's Attendant, Lana Lore Elf. That Seer's Ascendant, Lana Lore Elf. What are you gonna use those to play? Worm Coil Engine. Sure, you know what I mean? Like this thing could pop off. You could turn 2 this theoretically. You turn 1 Soul Ring, you turn 2 Wand of World Soul. That means turn 4 or turn 3 you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got 6 mana turn 3. Yeah, you could just drop like 2 small creatures and then you've got 9 mana turn 4. Yeah, this thing seems pretty good in a white deck. Hedron Detonator was sick. 2 and a red for a 2/3. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to target opponent. Yep, pair this thing with your Dockside Extortionist and just start ripping people's faces off. I got a couple goblins on bath salts. One of them's making treasures, one of them's getting pissed and chucking them at your face. That's just how it goes here with the goblins. They really don't know what they're doing. You can tap it to sacrifice 2 artifacts and exile the top card of your library, and you may play that card this turn. Also, super good. Pseudo card draw. Turns all your treasure tokens into pings, which is crazy in certain decks. Definitely consider picking one of these up for sure. Up next is Pain Distributor, which is the flip side of Hedron Detonator. It's 2 and a red for a 2/3 menace. Whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, they create a treasure token. Okay. So you get treasure tokens for casting your first spell. All your opponents get treasure tokens for casting their first spell. Whenever an artifact an opponent controls is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, Pain Disruptor deals 1 damage to that player. Imagine both of these in play at the same time. Pain Disruptor just as a card is extremely good. Just starting to make treasure tokens for playing your first spell. Yeah, that seems very good. And then just passively dealing 1 to players. I don't know. I think Hedron Detonator and Pain Disruptor might have a place in my Xantcha deck. Yeah, that's the exact type of shit I'm trying to do in that deck. I'm so happy I looked into these commander decks. Up next is Sandstep War Riders, which is pretty decent. I'm not gonna say it's great like the other ones so far, but this is pretty decent. 3 and a green for a 4/4 trample. At the beginning of combat on your turn, bolster X, where X is the number of differently named artifact tokens you control. My mind immediately went to food, clue, blood, treasure, all those types of tokens. If you're in a deck that's just based around like spitting out those and using like Academy Manufacturer to like spit out as many as possible, this seems pretty good. You'll be buffing up your small creatures each combat for a good 3 if you have a clue, a treasure, and a food out. And 4 for a 4/4 trample is not bad. Something to consider, I think, if you're in a specific kind of deck. And then finally, we've got Wildfire Awakener. It's X1, a red, and a white for a 3/2. With Convoke, when Wildfire Awakener enters the battlefield, create X11 red elemental creature tokens with, when this creature becomes tapped, it deals 1 damage to target player. In a token deck, this seems fantastic, because you think about it, you get, let's say you have 6 tokens in play, not hard to do. You tap those 6 tokens, and then let's say you have 4 mana. So you got 10 mana total in play. You can play Wildfire Awakener for 7, and then you immediately replace all your creatures you tapped to Convoke it, because this thing will replace them with 1/1, so you have blockers. It's not like you're tapped out and you're going to take something to the face. And those 1/1s deal 1 when they attack, which is going to feed into that damage-hungry, go-wide strategy of a token deck. Maybe if there's an Aristocrats that has red-white in it. I'm sure there is a red-white-black Aristocrats deck. I could see this if you're in a deck that's just based around dealing 1 damage like a bunch of times. Maybe. But this is a really cool card. The fact that it has Convoke, you can definitely get a solid amount of 1/1s out with this thing. Let me know which one of these cards was your favorite, guys. If you want to look at the full 46 cards that were released in the Commander decks that are new, I have a link down in the description for the gallery. You can go look at them. These are the 6 best ones I could find. It's honestly not the best commander set, but if you are interested in me making videos like this for each commander set that comes out and just highlighting some of the cards I really like out of it, let me know. I'm always down to add some new content to the roster. If you want to check out the daily card highlight, we've been doing those over on the channel. We kind of delve into some more obscure, powerful cards. Also, daily live streams at 6 p.m. So at 6 p.m., there's pretty much something going on the channel all the time. If you're watching this freshly uploaded, we're probably live streaming right now. So if you want to head over to the channel and check that out and join us, feel free. If you want to show some additional support to the channel, you can head over to patreon.com/nixlotus. It starts as low as $1 for a shout out like these lucky patrons: Tyler, Betsy, Katie. Much love to you guys, and much love to you guys watching. Go play some Magic, guys.